the oasis for natural healing. So, we're going to talk today about sticky sinuses, springtime, and stomach issues. So, going to just kind of see if anybody's going to pop on. If you are joining me, please say hi. It would be wonderful to say hello. Hi, Judy. Thank you for joining. We have our Instagram people on as well as Facebook and YouTube. So, thanks for joining. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about sticky sinuses, springtime, and stomach issues. All right. So, yeah, it's springtime. How many of you guys are having sinus issues? Oh, pretty much almost everybody that I know is getting really bad stuffy sinuses, and their sinuses have a lot of drainage, and it's just kind of not fun, right? Um, and what do you do? What do you reach for? Most people are reaching for like the Flonase or the Zyrtec or, something else over the counter, but it's not really all that healthy for you. And why do you have sinus issues in the first place? And how is that actually related to your gut? And what can you do about it? Well, a lot of our sinus issues actually can be related to the gut. Actually, we can have leaky gut syndrome. So I've talked about this in the past. And what happens is with leaky gut, that means that the stomach lining and the intestinal lining, the lining in the gut is actually weak. It has, so to speak, I'm using very generic terms and stuff like that, but just so that way it's a little bit more understandable. Basically has bigger holes in them to allow, so your gut's supposed to allow certain things in and certain things out. This is how you digest food. This is how nutrients exit the intestine and the stomach and get into the bloodstream, right? And the intestinal lining, the stomach lining is supposed to keep certain things in and only allow certain things in and only allowing certain things out. Well, when this lining gets weak, other things can escape that shouldn't be escaping. And then they get into your bloodstream and then they go migrating all over the place. And a lot of people with chronic sinus issues, it's actually stemming from the gut. So you can have, so our gut has a whole bunch of things in there. It has bad bacteria, it has good bacteria. It has candida, which is a form of yeast. And these things are usually kept in checks and balance. Well, I can pretty much guarantee you if you have leaky gut, you have an overgrowth of bad bacteria, you have an overgrowth of candida, and you probably got parasites. So when all of these things start escaping the gut, and they go traveling into your bloodstream, yes, they can go migrating. They can settle into other parts of your body, such as your sinuses. Okay. So they can settle into your vaginal canal. So women with chronic candida, chronic yeast infections, bacterial vaginosis, women with these kind of issues, chances are it's leaky gut. Okay. So if you have toenail fungus, okay, or fungus, like fungus on your nails, you're not supposed to have that. That is an indication that you could have leaky gut syndrome. So what do you do about that? Well, there's a lot of different things. We want to find out the root cause of why you have leaky gut in the first place. Most of the time, it partly stems from our diet. Okay. When we start eating too many sugary foods, who likes sugar? Pretty much everybody, and I'm not gonna lie, I like sugar too, right? Sugar is very, very addicting, and it's kinda good. We are on sugar overload in the United States. We eat too much sugar, and in fact, when a lot of people go to Europe, they think that their foods are bland because they're not as sweet because they don't use nearly half the amount of sugar that we use, and in fact, sugar is in pretty much everything. And then we eat way too many carbs. Okay, all forms of carbs break down to sugar. All carbohydrates are plant based. So any type of plant that you're eating, whether it's vegetables, whether it's fruit, now there's healthier ones more so than others, but any type of plant is a carbohydrate by nature. All carbohydrates break down to sugar. Okay. And we eat way too many carbohydrates as it is. And this can actually throw off the pH balance in your gut. When this happens, our gut actually becomes weaker. The lining in our gut becomes weaker, and then we can develop leaky gut. And that's when other things can go migrating. And that's when you have an imbalance of good bacteria and bad bacteria, an imbalance of nutritional yeast versus like different candidas and things like that. This is when you can have an imbalance in like parasites because you don't have the pH balance to kill off all of this gunk. Okay. And so these things can kind of take over, and then you can have migrating candida, migrating parasites, migrating bad bacteria, and even food particles, undigested food particles can go migrating all over your body too. So, so what do you do? Well, first off, partly diet change. And then we want to kind of heal the gut. Things like licorice root can be really healing to the gut as well. Okay. So licorice root, you want to turn around. I love there's a company called Ion Biome, which helps to heal the gut matrix. Um, Balance of Nature, I believe it's called. And that really helps to heal the gut. Um, and there's a lot of other things that you can do too. Then we also want to get rid of all the candida, the possible parasites in there, the bad bacteria, and we want to replace it with good, healthy stuff, like rebalancing and replenishing the microbiome in your gut with good probiotics. Most of the probiotics that you get over the counter don't have enough strains and the right amount and in the right proportion, and a lot of them are poor quality as well. Some of the companies that I use that I absolutely love their probiotics, Cellcore has a fantastic one called CT Biotic. Absolutely love this one. I also love Energetics Flora 12, which has several different strains of good bacteria. And that is a good probiotic as well. So, and what we'll do is we'll actually muscle test you for these probiotics. If you wind up having a lot of mucus buildup, licorice root can not only help heal the gut, but it also helps with um, mucus production as well. So, not only in your sinuses, but in your lungs. Fenugreek, um, Catalyst U is very good for the gut. Thank you, Judy. So, that is a digestive enzyme. So, yes, if you have food intolerances, then Catalyst U is digestive enzymes from energetics, and I love that one too. And again, it depends on what you're testing for. So we have several different digestive enzymes. CT-zyme from Cellcore, multizyme from Standard Process, lactens from Standard Process. Uh, you can have Catalyst U. There's Catalyst 7. These are different types of digestive enzymes from energetics. Catalyst C is another type of digestive enzyme from energetics. And it really just depends on what you muscle test for and what your body actually wants. We have a D for digest from systemic formulas, which has different digestive enzymes in there as well. And NZ is another good digestive enzyme and helps with the gut too from systemic formulas. So again, it depends on what your body actually tests for, but that's really good for your gut too. Um, I like Galt Immune. That can also help decrease inflammation, can help start healing the gut. That's from energetics, helps with inflammation as well. Um, and that can actually that's actually really good for the gut too. But again, it's whatever you muscle test for and whatever you quantum nutrition test for. So that will help with like breaking down foods and helping your gut process foods and you be able to digest your foods and absorb your foods a little bit better. So we definitely want to do that. We want to, what was the name of that? Which one, Judy? So we'll type it in the comment and then I'll get back to that. So we want to find out, what kind of like what the underlying causes. Fenugreek is a really good herb that helps with also um, mucus production for the Oh, Galt Immune. That's by Energetics as well. So fenugreek is another good one for the sinuses and also with you're welcome, with mucus production, helps to kind of decrease that mucus production as well. So, but those help with the symptoms, but again, we want to find out, why do you have them? So, and we'll muscle test for parasites and things like that. I've had patients who have had, candida and parasites in their sinuses. And a lot of times we'll test to see what liquid tincture or combination of liquid supplements that are herbals that the patient actually needs, and they'll do a neti pot or a navage, and they'll put that in the navage or the neti pot, and then they'll do sinus rinses basically with it. I've had patients that have blown out parasites out of their nose after doing it for like a couple weeks, and they didn't have any more sinus issues either. The funny thing is that a lot of people with sinus issues and allergic issues actually also have a histamine imbalance, and they have a liver or kidney issue. And you can have normal labs. It doesn't mean that your kidneys or liver are functioning right where they need to be. They can still be stressed out and you have normal labs, because kidneys and liver actually help to break down histamine. If they cannot break down histamine, guess what? You have sinus allergies. You're going to have allergic rhinitis. Okay. You're going to have overall inflammation, maybe even skin allergies too. And when you have that, you're not going to feel so good. And then you're prone to sinus infections, which then traditional medicine would turn around and give you antibiotics, which, guess what, is going to screw up your gut, which is going to start the cycle all over again. Okay. So we want to break that cycle. We want to stop you from needing sinus allergy medicine. We want to stop you from getting sinus infections, which leads to antibiotics, which leads to worsening gut stuff, which then can cause worsening of symptoms, lower your immune system, and everything else. So that gut is really, really important. We need a good, healthy gut in order to have really good, healthy sinuses. Okay. We also need a good liver and kidneys as well. If you are constipated, that could also be a reason why you have sinus issues, because that is a drainage pathway. Okay. If your body cannot properly eliminate toxins, guess where it's going to try eliminating it from? Other drainage pathways. What are they? Those are your lungs. So we breathe out toxins. We can also blow out toxins through our sinuses, through our eyes, drippy eyes. Okay. Your nose. And those toxins can be very irritating and cause mucus buildup. So, this is why it's important to have a healthy gut. So that way you have healthy sinuses. So, when you take allergy medicine, you are literally just masking your symptoms and also adding in a whole bunch of heavy chemicals into your body, which makes you more toxic. And the potential for side effects of these medications increase. Remember, any type of symptom you have, whether it's very minimal and only occurs occasionally or rarely, is an indication. It is a kind of like your check engine light going off in your car. It is an indication that something is not working at 100% in your body. There is a deeper underlying cause. Do not chuck it up to saying, oh, it's just allergies. Oh, it's just asthma. No, it's kind of, think of like, how do I explain this? Think of like a smoke, or like like you have a thing of leaves and those leaves are smoldering, right? A fire hasn't broken out, but they're smoldering, right? Somebody had, taken two sticks and they're rubbing it together, creating heat, and they're starting to smolder, and it smolders and it smolder, and the smoldering gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then all of a sudden you have a small fire, and then of course that fire grows. Well, guess what? That occasional symptom that you have once every couple months or once a month is that smoldering. And if it goes unchecked, guess what? By the time it shows up on lab work, that is a full-blown fire. Okay. By the time it shows up on blood work, it is a full-blown fire. We want to catch things before you turn into a smoldering, huge fire, raging fire, right? We don't want to wait for that to happen. So even if you just have sinus issues once in a blue moon, take note of that, because that's an indication that something deeper is going on in your body. And then you can try doing things on your own, like I said. But make sure that you're not just masking symptoms with natural stuff. So, like taking fenugreek, yes, that will help with mucus production. But we want to get to the underlying cause of why you have it first, because if you don't handle that, your symptoms may improve for a short period of time, but they're going to come back because you're never addressing the underlying cause. Okay. So that's what we want to do. We want to get to the root cause. So things again like parasites, candida, bad bacteria, even food intolerances can cause inflammation in your sinuses and in your gut. So, if that is something that you are possibly interested in and you want more information, please do not hesitate to reach out. We actually have virtual and in person appointments. The virtual appointment uses a technique called quantum nutrition testing. And then we use a combination of a couple different muscle testing techniques in person. Both are very scary accurate. So, it doesn't really matter whether you're in person or virtual. And if you would like more information to figure out how you can get tested or what actually is involved, please give us a call. Our phone number is 708-554-6730. And stay healthy, guys. Spring is right around the corner. All right, take care. Bye.